Welcome back, Nintendo 64 fans. We are off to the races today. Diddy Kong Racing is another one of Rare's classic projects that really sealed the deal on making the N64 my favorite platform of all time. Truthfully, Mario Kart 64 usually gets the recognition for the best racing game on the N64. And on a multiplayer standard, I would have to agree. Diddy Kong Racing's main story, however, is a much different matter. I'm not kidding when I say this game has quite the difficulty curve. I'm not even 100% sure how I completed this game as a child. This game is full of intelligent AI, along with quite a few secrets that even a seasoned gamer would have issues finding. The gameplay is similar to that of your average racing games beforehand, but Diddy Kong Racing turned it up just a few notches. And unfortunately, there aren't any cheats to help you along the way, even with quote, magic codes. That's just a facade, we'll talk more on that later. But in any case, double check your seatbelts, as we are in for a wild ride. Our intro really doesn't give us any backstory, just an intro to the characters. In short, Timber the Tiger is left in charge of his parents' island while they visit Kong Country. An evil wizard named Wizpig comes and enslaves the 4 guardians of the island to try and take control. Drumstick, the best racer in the land, attempts to fend off Wizpig by beating him in a race, but ultimately fails and is turned into a frog for his defeat. Timber recruits drivers such as Diddy and Banjo to join forces and break the bond on the Guardians and defeat the evil Wizpig to send him back to his home planet. We also have a powerful genie on our side named Taj. He was once the face of the island but was cast out and replaced by Wizpig. Our powerful genie friend now guides us along the way, offering us vehicle changes and magic balloons to open new race courses. With the help of Diddy and friends, Timber hopes to reclaim the island before his parents come home and see a fat pig as their new monument. We are then taken directly to the main title screen with our characters, excluding one, TT. I really hoped to unlock this guy before I put out this video, but it just wasn't going to happen. He's insanely difficult to unlock, taking hours of grinding. There are no stats given on the actual game screen, but like Mario Kart 64, there are different racer advantages. You have your lightweight, medium weight, and heavyweight. This does affect the acceleration, top speed, and handling of your vehicles. There is a PDF version of the instruction manual online if you want to dig in deep, but honestly, I would just choose Diddy Kong and call it a day. You essentially have 2 options on the main screen. Adventure, which is obvious, it's the main game, and then Tracks, where you can race with certain settings on specific tracks. What is Adventure 2, you ask? Well, it's quite phenomenal by every definition of the word. Once you beat Adventure mode, you unlock Adventure 2, which is the exact same thing, but the courses are backwards. I'm joking, it's not phenomenal. It's not worth pursuing in my opinion. The main adventure is entertaining and frustrating enough. And we're able to create a new save file and get the ball rolling on a new campaign. Let the fun begin. Remember when I said at the beginning there was no backstory? Well, lucky for us, this game stays consistent in keeping everything a secret, so long as we remain in the actual game and don't seek any outside sources. This cutscene offers 0 narration. It's just music and a panning image of Wizpig's face, Mount Rushmore style. It doesn't even show Taj the Genie's face being taken down at any point. It's almost as if this is Wizpig's island to begin with, and we're invading his territory. It really is a beautiful island. Prime real estate. Timber's parents must be really well off. And we finally get our man of the hour to finally show his face. Also, get used to this melodramatic intro. Taj does this a lot. In fact, it's every single time after you win a race, he'll come floating in on his carpet, just about to lose his balance each time. And when he lands to finally introduce himself, he has my favorite personal introduction of all time on any video game.
I am the genie of the island. I'm here to help you. Good luck.
I really can't tell if he's trying to be funny, but the good luck cracks me up every time, like he knows he's sending us to our demise. Here's where the main fun of the game begins. Unlike Mario Kart 64, this game does have a main hub to just hang out and drive around and collect some secrets. There are 4 areas where the Guardians are locked away, and we will need to use the Genie's balloons to help us rescue them from their bondage. If we ever need to summon Taj, we can rudely honk on his circle here and he'll teleport to us. His main function on the island is to transform our vehicle. There are 3 main vessels we can use in Diddy Kong Racing: the basic car, the hovercraft, and the airplane. These are used to get to the 4 areas as well as used in different races depending on the course stipulations. Most of the time you'll be using the car, however, on water levels you'll be forced to use the hovercraft. And occasionally, you'll take things to the sky in the airplane, especially when trying to free the Dragon Guardian. And as previously mentioned, there are some secret balloons on the island itself. The first one is glaringly obvious. In fact, the game just about forces you to grab this balloon before you head into the first area lobby. These are the most important item you can collect in the game. You'll find 4 secret ones on the island, and then you'll receive one the first time you win a race on each course. The number of balloons you need to open a door will be obviously printed right smack in the middle of the door. Easy enough. The lobby of each of the 4 main areas is pretty straightforward. The only animate object in each lobby will be TT. This is the guy I struggle to unlock. He can turn on the time trials for each course for you, or simply tell you the status of your game. Starting out, the only real option you have is to go into the door signifying 1 balloon, and here's where the meat of the game begins. A good old-fashioned race. Again, I know I use this word frequently, but the race is pretty straightforward. It is a game for all ages after all. Each course consists of all 8 main racers, and your goal is to complete all 3 laps and come in first place. If you played one racing game, you've played them all. Luckily, each good racing game will have something that makes it unique. Aside from the storyline and cute critters commandeering these vehicles, we also have power-ups and boosts that make this game stand out from the rest. Our 3 main targets are balloons, zippers, and bananas. Let's take a look at what each one does according to the instruction manual. The first item, and the one that does not regenerate, is the banana. These marginally increase your top speed. I wouldn't go too far out of your way to grab one, and the benefit does max out at a quantity of 10. The zippers are a game changer. These boosts are worth going out of your way for, as they can often launch you across water or grass that would otherwise slow you down. The genie does give you a hint later in the game, but I'll give it to you now. Before hitting a zipper, release the A button, and you'll actually get an even larger boost. And the third and largest category are the balloons. There are 5 kinds of balloons, each corresponding to a color. Red, blue, green, and rainbow are all offensive balloons, and the yellow balloon is defensive. Each balloon can be collected to power up to a level of 3. Here's what I mean. Take for instance the red balloon. It is a basic missile balloon that will shoot at a target. Level 1 is a basic missile, level 2 is a guided missile, and level 3 is a quantity of 10 of the level 1 missiles. It is very useful in boss races. More on that later. The blue balloon provides a speed boost, similar to a zipper. Level 1 is basic, level 2 has a bit of a kick to it, and level 3 will cause whiplash, so use this one with caution and preferably on a straightaway. The yellow balloon is often overlooked because of the tendency to be on the offensive. Many times the shield is underestimated and can really save you in crunch time. It will prevent obvious attacks from hitting you and losing your bananas, and also preventing you from losing a valuable speed boost from a zipper. Level 1 through 3 is basically the strength of the shield, and at level 3, it will actually cause other players to spin out of control if you come in contact with it. The green, and my least favorite balloon, works similar to the banana in Mario Kart. It's essentially a drop item that will slow other players if they come in contact, each slowing more at a higher level. Level 1 is an oil spill, level 2 is a mine, level 3 is a bubble. Pretty basic. The rainbow balloon is by far my favorite, because it's such a cheap move in my opinion. It's a magnet that will lock on a target's position. I like the first 2 levels. It can correct your course and bring you up to their level if you mess up. However, level 3 is not my cup of tea, as it brings them to you instead of you to them. I would rather be corrected than to correct, but hey, that's just me. Here's an example of zippers being used. I absolutely am horrible with both banjo and hovercrafts. If you know the course layout, it's easy to line up zippers so you can let them do most of the work, instead of depending on yourself to swerve and brake accordingly. I would only grab a red balloon if you are behind first. As seen here, it's kind of difficult to shoot players that are ahead, but hey, I got this one. Green balloons I would only grab if you are way ahead. As I said, I don't grab them too often, and if I do, I usually just drop them right in front of a zipper, because I like to be contrary. The blue speed boost balloons are always useful, especially in first place. They come in handy after a sharp curve, specifically after a zipper so you can quickly pick up speed again. Using one across the finish line is also a guilty pleasure. And as I said before, the rainbow balloon magnet. Simply use it to attract yourself to a target and it boosts you up to their position to get you on track. Lucky you guys, you get a sneak peek at endgame because it's the best example of the yellow balloon. Use it to avoid being harmed by projectiles. It is oh so useful. Whenever you win a race for the first time on each course, you will be awarded a balloon from Taj, as I stated earlier. This guy always has the most over-the-top entrances. And by entrances, I should say entrance, because he does the same thing every single time. Luckily, it is skippable, and well, I suggest smashing that A button. Winning all races in the appropriate zone will unlock the Guardian battles to free them from the curse of Wizpig. A ground race with Tricky the Triceratops. He's the Guardian of Dino Domain. A hovercraft race with Bluey the Walrus, Guardian of Snowflake Mountain. A hovercraft race with Bubbler the Octopus, Guardian of Sherbet Island. And an aeroplane race with Smokey the Dragon, Guardian of Dragon Forest. The first boss races are a bit difficult and require some skill to complete. Usually you can just tunnel vision your way to the end and end up in first place. Oh, you know this, I said first boss race, yeah? Well, here's the bad news. You have to face them a second time, and they are way more difficult. And you want more bad news? You have to go and complete the courses again, this time with the Silver Coin Challenge. The Silver Coin Challenge isn't horrible for seasoned players, but for those just starting out, it's absolutely atrocious. You'll need to collect 8 silver N64 coins on each course and win. Some of the coins are easy to grab, while others are a bit of a pain to find. It is quite a bit more difficult than just regular races. And then you have to beat the Guardians again. Oh, and Taj, of course, commences his unnecessary ceremony, so you get double the fun there.
This is for you.
Oh, and you thought you only had to do each course twice. Well, welcome to the trophy race. Honestly, I don't even know why this is part of the game. It's just like the first races, but it is a point system, a lot like Mario Kart 64. But it's pretty easy to win the trophy. You need to get all 4 in order to enter the secret 5th world. Oh, and you thought you only had to complete each world 3 times. Yes, this is the final joke, this I promise. This is it for the main content of the game. Each of the 4 worlds will have a secret key you need to nab. Seriously, look at an online guide for these, and it will unlock a mini-game needed to complete the game. Obtaining the key will allow you to enter the big locked door on each world. The mini-games are pretty fun actually, distancing itself from racing and going into more of a battle mode. The computer puts you up against a random 3 opponents, and it's everyone for themselves. The mini-games usually consist of depleting each other of bananas, or collecting more resources, such as bananas or dinosaur eggs. These minigames are quite entertaining, and they aren't especially difficult to win. It is good to break the monotony of constant racing, and to test your skills in other ways. Once you have claimed first place in the minigames, Taj will come and award you with a piece of the TT amulet. When all 4 pieces of the amulet are assembled, we will be able to enter the TT door in the secret 5th world we will see later on. And speaking of requirements to finish the game, we will also need to win the second race against all Guardians as mentioned before. This will award us a quarter of the Wizpig amulet per Guardian. Once the Wizpig amulet is assembled, we can finally take down the menace that has brought mayhem to Timbers Island. The hoghead himself opens his big fat pork mouth. Someone should shove an apple in it. Man, I'm craving a hog roast now. And we are able to enter to meet Wizpig. I'll give you 3 guesses what we have to do to beat him. Yep, that's correct. A one-on-one race. Don't let this chubby pig's BMI fool you. He is wicked fast, and this race proves to be a pretty big challenge. I would suggest using Diddy. He seems like the best overall racer, and you'll need all the help you can get on this guy. The most important thing here is don't get too far behind. I know that sounds obvious, but there aren't a whole lot of good catch-up mechanics, and it's so easy to get off course. There are no balloons or silver coins on this, so you don't have to worry about those. The most important object is the zipper, and it is absolutely vital that you release the A button before you get the boost, as I described earlier in the video. The path and the angle of the zippers are what make this difficult. You don't have much time to adjust going from zipper to zipper, and will usually end up in the water or failing to do a correct boost, which will inevitably lead to a loss. Don't get discouraged. It took me many tries to beat Porco here, but we finally got the job done. Once you beat Little Piggy here, he will stomp in a fit of rage, and he won't say anything to you. What an awful sport. I am assuming he uses his wizard powers to go back to his home planet. Serves him right anyways. There really isn't anything here for him. And of course we are joined by our old friend Taj, and TT joins in to bask in our glory. Of course there always has to be a beach party when we defeat the evil villain, yeah? I'm telling you, Timber's parents are loaded. I was always jealous of this island as a kid. Also, just look at how much fun everyone is having. Are we sure these racers aren't just helping out Timber because he's rich? Wait, that's a good point. Are we being paid for all this? I know I'm off on a tangent, but Timber didn't even provide beer, and we just saved his multi-million-dollar island from an intergalactic pig takeover. But of course you knew the game wasn't over, since I hinted at the secret 5th world numerous times. And also the fact there wasn't a whole lot of closure with the villain. I mean, he literally said nothing after his defeat, and just disappeared into thin air. Well, we pan over to Wizpig, being a creepy peeping Tom. Kinda feel bad for him, you know? He wants to join in on this hoedown hootenanny. I take that back. I don't feel bad for this villain. Really, there are no redeeming qualities about Wizpig. I don't even understand why he is terrorizing these poor creatures. I'm pretty sure that's the telltale sign of being a psychopath. He's just tormenting them to be cruel. I can't stand this villain. He's just so unlikable in every way you can examine. He calls down a shuttle to blast our team with laser beams. Yes, let that sink in. Cute little critters are having a dance party, and this tyrant calls down a space vessel to shoot at them. How heartless can you possibly be? We haven't even laid a finger on him. We just simply beat him in a race and he goes ballistic. His ego clearly just wants the last laugh. Good riddance. He can have it. You'd think dominating your own planet would suffice, but no, he just had to come to ours and make us miserable. Who am I kidding? We gotta teach this dictator a lesson in humility. Let's go take him down on the 5th world. The credits will roll after this cutscene, but do not be fooled. We have much more to accomplish. Just like most opportune times in the N64 era, smash that reset button, because we have no time to waste. As I mentioned before, the 4 Guardians will task you in winning a trophy race in their world. Obtaining the first place trophy on all 4 worlds will allow you to use the lighthouse in the most practical way possible, a rocket ship. All you have to do is honk in front of the display board here. This is actually pretty secret because it gives you zero indication that there is more to the story or how to accomplish this feat. But in any case, this will further our evidence that Timber's parents are in fact the elite of this universe, as they have a lighthouse that can take us to Wizpig's planet. I don't think this was intended for a bunch of children to use in order to defeat an existential threat to our world, but hey, we all have to adapt to our given situations. And in case you haven't figured it out yet, this is the way to the secret 5th world, also known as Future Funland. And spoiler alert, it actually is pretty fun. Like the previous 4 worlds, it has a similar makeup. 4 courses consisting of a regular race, and then a silver coin challenge. The difference here is that there isn't an intermediate boss between the normal race and silver coin challenge, but you will need all previous balloons in order to complete this area. My opinion on the secret 5th world? I absolutely love it. It's so 90s space tech themed. I know, I was born in 1990, so I'm biased and I'm loaded with nostalgia. But it reminds me of Space Jam's Moron Mountain and Toy Story's Pizza Planet. It's so cool to race in this theme, and I had a great time recording footage for this portion of the video. Realistically, it's not significantly more challenging. Sure, there is a bit of an increase, but nothing like what we saw with Wizpig's first battle. But unfortunately, our fun has to end, and we have to face our swine friend for the second time, and it is miserable. You thought the 4 Guardians second race was difficult? Well, old Wizpig here ups the ante. Everything about this race puts your skills to the test. There are red and blue balloons, so you can increase your speed, or use missiles to slow him down. I've tried this race so many times, I don't even remember which strategy worked best. I tried some with stacking blue balloons for a huge burst at the end, and then tried stacking red balloons for the 10 missiles. But really, what worked was just not running into obstacles, or getting gunned down by his throne room. Which, by the way, is so cool. I love boss thrones, that's just a side note. And when you finally spend hours of your life grinding away at defeating Wizpig, his rocket will begin to malfunction for some unknown reason. He's then seen launching into the exosphere, and I'm really not 100% sure what's going on here. He's heading toward a planetary body, which I can assume is the moon for Future Funland. But I can't really tell if he's landing on the planet or what's going on. His rocket does split and continues to throttle through space, so I assume he's trapped on the surface below. But honestly, at this point, who cares? Remember, this is the villain that frightens small forest creatures for the fun of it. I have no sympathy here. let's finally see the good ending. Well, hey, wouldn't you know it? Tasha's face is finally restored, and of course, we have another island party going on. This one will not be ruined by our arch nemesis Wizpig, so feel free to enjoy the celebratory nature of this event. The Guardians are finally able to be broken from their mind control curse and join in on the festivities. Timber's island is finally restored, and when his parents come back, it will be as if nothing ever happened. Good job, team! We accomplished our task and saved ourselves a harsh scolding from authority. Or so we thought. You know, in the N64 era, there always has to be a cliffhanger. One of Wizpig's ships can be seen flying through the atmosphere during the last few seconds of the cutscene. What this can possibly mean, we are not entirely sure. Diddy Kong Racing 2 does not currently exist, unfortunately. But nonetheless, that leads to the end of the game. Good job, gamer. You have completed Diddy Kong Racing 64. I know I mentioned before Adventure 2 mode, which makes all the courses backwards, but I honestly wouldn't even mess with that option. This mode alone has enough challenges and entertainment to keep you hooked on for hours on end. Again, I am not kidding when I say some of these races are extremely difficult and will cost you a large chunk of your day. Just enjoy Adventure 1 mode because it truly is a unique and worthwhile experience. I do want to touch up on something here. The magic codes I mentioned earlier are essentially worthless in one-player campaign. I really needed help on some of these courses, so I input magic codes for things such as starting with 10 bananas, and enemies can't use weapons, and off-roading, which ensures that you go the same speed off-road that you do on-road. Yeah, they don't work. I'm pretty sure these are just from multiplayer. It was disappointing. I had to actually put in the work to pass these levels, but as I've said before, if I can do it, then you can do it. And one last point here. To unlock TT, you have to beat his time trial on every available course. Sounds easy, but it isn't. Be prepared to time every zipper and cut every corner with precision, because it is by far the most difficult feature to unlock in this game. From what I hear though, TT is by far the most useful racer, but unfortunately it's completely useless when you have already beat the game. That is, unless you want to own your friends in 2-player mode. Well friends, that is it for Diddy Kong Racing. Thank you for stopping in. Hope you enjoyed this video and learned a few things along the way. Alrighty folks, and there you have it, my in-depth analysis of Diddy Kong Racing on the Nintendo 64. And I know I've been doing some of the more popular games lately, and that's not by any deliberate design. It's just the games I still have left from my childhood. Of course, you're not going to throw away any of the classics here. And I was actually surprised. This is a more popular game than I thought. I was looking up the top Nintendo 64 games, selling-wise quantities, and this actually made number 8 on the list at 4.8 million copies. Which, when I think about it, really shouldn't be that surprising because it is a kids to adults game, and it's got a sort of familiar title name attached to it of Diddy Kong. But yeah, it's good family fun. It's clean. There's nothing inherently offensive about it. Really, the downside to this, and I know I mentioned it in the video several times, and I'm telling you the truth, especially if you're new to the racing genre, this game can be a little brutal at times, and you'll find yourself restarting races quite a bit. I wouldn't get discouraged. I beat the game before, and I was still getting frustrated with myself on numerous occasions. It definitely tests your skills at some point. Really, that's the biggest downside. It is a little cartoony, but that's expected with a kids to adults game. But overall, I have nothing but praise for this game. It does really well with its campaign, especially for a racing game. I like how they incorporated that in there. I know it's hard to do, but I really felt like I was part of. It was actually an adventure mode rather than just going course to course and racing. I think Rare did a fantastic job with that aspect of it. I unfortunately didn't get to play multiplayer because we are still at a stay-at-home order at the recording of this video, but that being said, I really don't remember much of it as a kid. It's pretty forgettable. Definitely stick with the campaign mode, but Mario Kart definitely takes the cake when it comes to multiplayer and having fun with your friends. I guess you could play multiplayer with Diddy Kong. It's just not as well known, but again, yes, this is one that I still do have the box from the childhood. This is actually in pretty good shape as well. I'm surprised I kept it in good fashion here, but Yeah, honestly, I'd give the campaign mode an 8.5 out of 10. Like I said, if you ever want to try out this game, full disclosure warning that it's difficult at times, and just don't get discouraged. Hang in there, grind it out. You'll eventually find a way to win. And again, thanks for stopping in, guys. Until next time.